Hey, 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 happy holidays. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. This is live stream 991. If you're not overly familiar with this show, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and we will normally take a first look at a game, be it a board game or role-playing game, and every once in a blue moon, I might actually share a live review here on the show. But tonight, we are actually going to be diving on in for a first look at a collectible card game, which has actually been out for a while. But this is the newest set, the newest run of cards. And I am talking about Universus My Hero Academia Jetburn. Yes, that's right. So we're going to look at some decks. We're going to crack open some boosters. And I am going to learn about Universus, because Universus actually features a variety of different animes mostly that you can put various different characters up against each other. I know that just recently, I'm not sure if they're out in stores yet or not, but there are decks for, Trigun, as well as one of my favorite animes of all time, Cowboy Bebop. Sweet, so that's what we're going to do tonight. Anyway, if you are tuning in live to check out the first look, got to point out, we tackled the tabletop gaming news around here first. So it's probably going to be about 35 maybe 40 minutes before we get on into that first look. So if you're hanging out live, just kick back, put your feet up, relax. I'm sure it was kind of a busy, stressful holiday if you live here in the US. Otherwise, if you're outside the United States, it was just another weekend, another Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But if you were here in the US, it may have been a little hectic. So relax, be good to yourself. Of course, if you are watching this 30 minutes or more after the show has ended, there will be timestamps. So if you are an impatient type and you just want to skip past the tabletop gaming news, although I wouldn't, because we've got cool news tonight, as we do every night, you'll be able to. There are timestamps in the show notes that you can use, or depending on the device that you may be watching this on, those timestamps might be right there in the timeline of the video. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live show. That means there is chat available. Not on screen. It's one of the ways I like to keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend, the Motor City Madman. Yes, the Madman is with us, as is Kathy Evans, Matthew Blackwell, Kevin R. Smith, and a Flaming Huron. So 2 of our chat moderators are with us tonight. And I will take a guess we might have Sarah D. Another of our chat moderators. Yes, those band hammers are at the ready, folks. Kabong! Now hold on there a minute, Baba Louie. I'll do the thinning around here. Scott B. Smith is also with us tonight, says they're probably going to be lurking. Good to see y'all. We got it chat off and running. So let's jump on into the news because I've got a nice eclectic mix tonight. Arriving next year, I do not have a date yet. I'm hoping early next year. From Osprey Games is Imperium Horizons. I've got the scoop. Formidable adversaries are arrayed against you. Your people stand ready. History beckons. In your hands lies the destiny of one of most storied peoples of history. Under a constant threat of attack, you must conquer new lands, oversee dramatic scientific and cultural advances, and lead your people into the era of empire. Expand too rapidly and unrest will bring your civilization to its knees. Build up too slowly, and you might find yourself a mere footnote of history. As one of 14 radically asymmetric civilizations, you will compete to become the most dominant empire the world has ever seen. Imperium Horizons is a standalone game that contains an astonishing 14 unique civilizations, each of which makes for a unique and challenging opponent in a solo game. The game is fully compatible with Imperium Classics and Imperium Legends for players wanting to expand their pool of civilizations even further. The game incorporates a new trade module that allows players to recreate all the intrigue, wealth generation, and dynamic politics of a thriving economy. It also contains over 45 cards reprinted from classics and legends for various minor balance and integration tweaks. Imperium Horizons is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 40 to 160 minutes. It's really depending on the player count. It's going to carry an MSRP of $80. When it arrives, I do believe, next February. I am not positive, but I do believe that is the release date. You may recall I shared a first look and review of Imperium Classics. It's a damn cool game. Played with my best friend Elliot and his son, and Brian, his son, just smoked us like cheap cigars. I was like, and that was the first time we had played. I was like, holy cow. I was humiliated. No, it wasn't that bad. It was relatively close, but his son just picked up on it and was like, went to town. This is a very, very interesting game. Bit of a tableau builder, although sometimes cards do leave your tableau and then come back in. And so it's a little deck builder-ish as well. Very, very interesting. And we're going to see some pretty cool civilizations as well, including the Japanese. I believe we've got the Mayans in here, the Inuits. So 14. And I think the other games came with 8, so they are boosting the number of civilizations included in Imperium. Moving right along, the latest cinematic adventure has arrived from Evil Genius Games for their Everyday Heroes role-playing system. And I've got the dope on Rambo. Destabilize governments, quell rebellions, and take down dictators. It's all in a day's work. Mow down hordes of bad guys with 5e-compatible mass casualty mechanics. The world of Rambo invites players to engage in any number of realistic military missions set in today's landscape. Game masters can leverage real-world conflicts, trouble spots, contemporary issues, and modern politics as they lead you on the adventures you're facing, creating possibilities that honor the military warrior that lives within you. Talking to you, the madman, yes. You can honor that military warrior who lives within you, even though you did serve. I would think you let that military warrior out. Navigate the complexities of war, from protecting aid workers and refugees to confronting soldiers of fortune and more, while wielding special combat skills that prove you're the best of the best. This is a 112-page cinematic adventure set in the world of Rambo. Isn't that our world? Of course, as Kevin R. Smith points out, one guy taking out the whole Viet Cong. Yeah, okay, all right, so it is the world of Rambo. New tools and guidance for game masters, new classes including the survivalist, new backgrounds such as military vet, which reminds me of something from Saturday Night Live way, way, way long ago. Wonder if any of you out there remember the Albert Brooks short films that they would have. I think it was in the first or second season of SNL. And one of them was a takeoff on the previews for network TV shows. And one was called Black Vet. And it was a African-American Vietnam veteran who became a vet. It was so weird. Got new professions such as government contractor, new rules and mechanics for mowing down your enemies. Also includes an adventure called Flesh and Blood. This 112-page hardcover for Rambo, the cinematic adventure, carries an MSRP of $24.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone. Actually, I think that $24.99 does include the PDF if you order from Evil Genius. But if you want just the PDF alone, you can score that over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. I'm kind of surprised, and I have mentioned this before when I've shared some news about some of the cinematic adventures for Everyday Heroes. Kind of surprised how little difference in the pricing for the actual physical books and the PDFs. Usually we see about half price. So you would think, $12.99, something like that. So kind of curious. I will mention that Evil Genius Games is supposed to be sending along, this was as of today, everything they've released so far for Everyday Heroes. That is what I was informed, because they had reached out and asked if I'd be interested in checking out Rambo, and the other new release is Universal Soldier. And I said, yeah, sure, but I don't have the Everyday Heroes. And I said, I got to be honest, my audience would probably be more interested in The Crow, Escape from New York, Highlander. So their PR contact got back to me and said, well, I'm just going to have the warehouse send everything to you. I was like, oh, all righty, sweet. Matthew Blackwell served as well. Says their military warrior just wants a nap. And they were in the Army. Very nice. So was my dad. My dad was in the Army as well. And most of us know that the madman served in the U.S. Coast Guard. Thank you both for your service. Seriously, that's not some bullshit, thanks for your service. You know what I'm talking about. Or it's just like a recording going off in their head. Oh, I see someone in an army uniform. Thank you for your service. It's like, yeah, okay. Slap. So pretty cool. We're going to be checking out Everyday Heroes in the not too distant future. Maybe we'll do a week of it if a whole bunch of stuff shows up. Yes. I heard good things about the Highlander book. And I happen to be a Highlander fan. So, although, let's be honest, it's only the first movie that's any good. And I had a buddy of mine, a real good friend of mine years ago, who was just enamored by the Highlander TV show, which I thought was relatively poor, but he looked a little bit like that guy. So the madman says, yep, Jeff, you nailed it. I know your appreciation is genuine. Well, yeah, my dad served. I nearly served, but it was actually my dad who told me I better not. So we won't talk about that story. Let's talk about some more role-playing game news instead, because the Candela Obscura role-playing game is now in stores from Critical Role and Darrington Press. Here's what I know. Investigators, ready yourselves. Candela Obscura needs you. The Candela Obscura core rulebook is a fully detailed guide on playing and game mastering the collaborative, investigative horror tabletop role-playing game. Say that 5 times fast. As an investigator of the paranormal secret society Candela Obscura, you and your circle are charged with exploring, fighting, and protecting the people of New Fair from supernatural dangers lurking in the folds of a bustling world, unaware of the occult magic simmering beneath. Candela Obscura is the very first game to use the Illuminated World system, as well as the first role-playing game from Darrington Press, as featured in the ongoing anthology series on Critical Role. Inside this core rulebook, you'll discover 204 detailed pages with a satin ribbon to keep your place. Those are normally called bookmarks, folks. The core rules to play and create your Candela Obscura investigators and their circles. Over 90 pages detailing the turn-of-the-century inspired setting of the Fairylands. And I think it's, did I say Fairlands? I think it's Fairylands. It's just an odd spelling. In detail, the city of New Fair. There you go. That's what I said before. For some reason, I was thinking it was Fairylands. No, it's New Fair. And the ancient ruins beneath, known as, wait for it, super original here, Old Fair. Okay, all right. 4 full example assignments for game masters to dive in with their players. Over 30 example assignments to explore far-flung corners of the Fairylands and the organizations and people operating within it. An extensive guide to preparing for and game mastering Candela Obscura. Immersive in-world ephemera and notes strewn throughout the chapters, illustrations, sketches, research notes, correspondences, advertisements, maps, and more to bring the Fairylands to life. Now is your time to accept the call of Candela Obscura. Ready your dice and accessories and get ready to play. The 204-page hardcover core rulebook with PDF does carry an MSRP of $39.99. It is not available just yet over at DriveThruRPG. But the PDF does come with the core rulebook. I believe there's also a collector's edition or a limited edition of this also. Matthew Constantine is with us, or Constantine. Says they were originally totally uninterested in Candela Obscura and maybe still am, but it seems like it might be a fun one to play at cons or local game shops or something. Seems very Blades in the Dark-esque. I know very little about it. I have no relationship with Darrington Press. I mean, not for any particular reason. I just don't. Not that I would like say, oh, I don't want to take a look at any of that. I'll tell you what, though, I had heard through the grapevine because I've had a couple of people ask me if I'm going to be reviewing this. And I've said, well, no, because once again, I don't have a relationship with Darrington Press. And they said that Dicebreaker is tearing this game a new asshole. And I thought to myself, well, I guess Darrington Press didn't throw any money Dicebreaker's way, so now they're going to rip on it. Ooh, did I just say that? Ooh, yes, I did. But I don't know. From my understanding, and it is not something that I'm, well informed on, I'll be the first to tell you this. I think this is supposedly very, very rules light, and that monsters don't have stat blocks or anything like that. You kind of create monsters. I don't think there's a bestiary. There's just kind of maybe information about each of the creatures and kind of give a little bit of information about them, but there aren't like stat blocks. They don't use that. And I guess it's easy to create your own supernatural creatures if you're the game master and stuff. I'm sure this is probably more storytelling game than hardcore role-playing game. That would be my guess. I mean, it's still a role-playing game, but those of you out there who are familiar with storytelling games as opposed to, well, I would say games like, what is it? Jason Cordova's fairly recent role-playing game where it's little old ladies fighting like the Cthulhu mythos. I would love to check that out one day. Brindlewood Bay. That is, I think, considered to be kind of a storytelling game. Fiasco, that's a storytelling game. It's not, even though you're playing different roles, it's more about the story itself as opposed to the characters within it. And of course, games like 5e D&D and Traveler, Call of Cthulhu, those are considered to be role-playing games, traditional role-playing games. Kevin R. Smith says there's an AP on Critical Role's channel if you want to take a peek. Yeah, they do have an actual play. I don't personally watch actual plays. I'm sure Kevin's not talking to me in chat about the AP. He's telling people in chat about it. But Kevin also pointed out that the main rules designer did a lot of Blades in the Dark supplements. That's why it's got the Blades in the Dark vibe to it. Matthew Constantine, I don't know, Tine. I don't want to say Constantine. And then you're like, hey, wait, no, man, I'm not, I've got nothing to do with that DC comic character. So they're not sure they like the whole turn of the 20th century meets the fairy realm vibe. I would also not be super keen on the fake location, this new fair, when underneath is old fair. I like horror games that are set into, in our real world. So even as crazy as they can be, like, Call of Cthulhu, dude. Sure, you got fictional locations, but it's all within the real world. Anyway, so I thought I would share the news. It is out. It is available. And who was it? Who just said, Jeff just said what everybody is thinking as far as Dicebreaker. It's like, yeah. Matthew Blackwell asks about Legend of the Seven Rings. So, is it is it 7 rings or 5 rings? We're talking about well, now it's with FFG. I thought it was L5R. I thought it's Legend of the Five Rings. Unless there's a different game that I am not aware of. But I can tell you, back when it was with AEG, it was fantastic. It was a phenomenal game. Maybe not mechanically, but it was setting-wise. They really, and it did have I was going to say, they really, really invested heavily into that. But of course, it was also a collectible card game too. So, okay, so Matthew Constantine says, I really don't care about the pronunciation of my name, but we always pronounce it so it rhymed with twine. Gotcha. Very nice. Moving right along. Following a successful crowdfunding run, The Weird is now available from Monte Cook Games. And here's what I know. Thousands and thousands of amazing ideas for any game, for every game. You've already got dragons and magic spells and alien planets and werewolves and superheroes in your game. Why would you need it to be any weirder? Because when you get down to it, what is weird other than new and interesting? And who doesn't want their stories and characters to be more interesting? Dragons and alien planets, and we've seen them before. Sure, you can still make them compelling or create a gripping story around them, but to do that, you're probably going to have to add something new and interesting. You're going to have to make them, in some respect, weird. Weird might mean dark, unsettling, or difficult to understand, but it doesn't have to. Weird can fit into any game, at any table. It brings mystery, interest, and curiosity to places where things might start to feel stale or repetitive. Think of it this way. When you first started playing role-playing games, they were exciting, new, and utterly captivating, right? Well, hopefully if you had a halfway decent game master, yeah. Otherwise, maybe not. The Weird is just a way to keep fueling that feeling, no matter how long you've been playing. And whether you want something interesting, surprising, over-the-top gonzo, or even whimsical, you'll find a seemingly unending stream of inspiration no matter what your game system, genre, or style. There are over 10,000 incredible ideas that will make your game even more engaging and memorable. The 258-page PDF of The Weird is now available over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. I do not believe it has arrived in print yet. So we do have the PDF, which is out. I love it was just being shared a moment ago. It's almost like the legs of Baba Yaga's hut. It's got like the chicken legs, but it's almost like a science fiction saucer. It's kind of like, okay, all righty. Anthony Good is with us in chat. Fleming Heron says, always need more gonzo. Or cowbell. It's one of the two. All right, that is it for tonight's news. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG, Dungeon Masters Guild, Storytellers Vault, Wargame Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, don't forget, give it a thumbs up. If you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always swing on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. Hell, you can give me a 2-liter bottle of soda if you'd like. And thankfully, there are many of you out there who do use the banner ads, the affiliate links essentially for the One Bookshelf sites, or stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang. Roll for Combat is with us, says, I got you got. English, Jeff, English, slow down. Now, actually, people complain I talk too slow and I pause too much. Roll for Combat says, I guess you got your computer fixed. No, I did not. I did not get that computer fixed because it is beyond fixable. Matthew Constantine is heading on out. Thank you very much for hanging with us tonight. But thanks to folks who support the Gaming Gang, yes, I did pick up the Lenovo Legion Slim 5, as well as 32 gigabytes of RAM, which I put in there, and a 2 terabyte solid state drive, which I also put in there. Fleming Heron says, you got a box, yippee! I know. I went through the trash and got one, man. I got a box. I got gum. I got candy. I got a rock. So I wanted to share some big thank yous to those of you out there who made the goal to pick up a new laptop. And this laptop should be future-proof for the next few years. That is why I got the 32 gigs of RAM and that additional solid state drive through Amazon, because I wanted to make sure that it was beefed up to about its capacity. I don't think I could put more than 32 gigs into it. And it's got a 4060 RTX graphics card from NVIDIA, because we already know the desktop over there that has a really rockin' AMD card. DaVinci Resolve hates AMD with a passion. Couldn't do any video editing. So everything's set up on it as well. I would have brought it down to show off, but I thought with my luck coming down here, something would happen. I had almost considered bringing like a pillow and kind of hiding the pillow out of the shot, you know, down here, and been like, oh, hey, look, and then like, oh, oops. And I thought, no, with my luck, it'll hit the pillow, bounce off it, and land right on the concrete flooring down here in the Duct Tape Studios. And then I'd be like, so I want to share big thank yous to the Madman, Roger Perdome, Scott B. Smith, Tessie Trekkie, and those of you out there who use nicknames and that, I know your real names. I would have shared those, but I thought, probably not. Don't want to do that. Gustavo Carvalho, Hector Stafford, Waco Glennon, Elwin Scally, William Arens, Fleming Rush, Crowbar Creative, Pulp Hummock Press, who blew me away with their donation. They're the company that I did a news piece and it's an adventure. It's actually arriving tomorrow, and it looked really, really cool. It's an old school adventure, but I think it's kind of setting and adventure. And we will probably be taking a look at it on Thursday if it does arrive tomorrow. And it's, was it Forgotten Gods of the North? And it's, I think it's the first like mega adventure written exclusively for old school essentials. So it looked very, very interesting. They blew me away with their donation. Robert Hodel, I mean, trust me, there are other people who blew me away with their donations. So don't think if you made a really nice donation, I'm, ignoring that fact. I don't mean that. What I mean is these folks weren't aware of this channel up until, 2 weeks ago? Anyway, once again, Robert Hodel, Stephen Quisenberry, Sarah D., the great game designer Chris Spivey, Marius Smith, Brand Guillory, and John Benin. Thank you, everyone. We hit the $1,000 mark. I was able to handle the rest. And yes, there be video editing going on once again. And you will get to enjoy some of that video editing in just a few moments. So once again, we are going to be diving on in and taking a first look at Universus My Hero Academia Jetburn from UVS Games in just a few moments. Before we jump into that, I did want to mention, if you follow me on Twitter, I had pointed out, this was yesterday, and actually kind of got people going a little bit. I had tweeted, I said, I wouldn't want to be someone getting involved with our hobby these days. I wouldn't want to be new to the hobby. And the main reason is that there is just so little real information that's available to you these days, especially when we talk about board games. There are just far, far too many people out there who are, oh, well, I'm going to just regurgitate all the sell sheet information to you, show you some aspects of the game, like when I do a first look and unboxing, and then say, oh, this is really good. I'm not saying Prime Minister is not really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it is actually probably very good. But you know what I'm saying is they don't play it. There are far, there you go, Flaming Heron, bang, do they even play the game? That is the problem going on right now. There are too many reviewers out there, especially in the board game side of things, because role-playing games, and I know people complain to me on occasion, well, how can you review that adventure? You didn't run it. No, but I've run enough adventures, and I do understand how my players and most players will react in certain situations. So I feel confident reviewing an adventure. I am very confident reviewing role-playing game systems. I would certainly never review a board game that I did not play. But let's be honest, look at some of the outlets that are out there that it's multiple videos a day, and they're always around 8 minutes, because 8 minutes is where you can monetize your videos on YouTube. If your video is shorter than 8 minutes, as far as I understand, I could be wrong, but as far as I understand, if it's shorter than 8 minutes, you cannot monetize that video, or you can't add videos in the middle of the video, or you can't add ads mid-roll is what they consider those. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's why it's 8 minutes, so that they can actually monetize it and get a mid-roll in there as well. So you can't tell me that these outlets that, it's one or two people and they're releasing a new review almost daily. If they're playing those games, they're playing them once. And if they're playing them once, I can tell you, just the way human beings are built, many times they play those games wrong. Something else, keep in mind, is, I don't feel great giving something a negative review. And I really try to stay away from giving something an overly negative review, especially if it's coming from a small to mid-sized publisher. In fact, many times I just won't do the review because I don't want to, I have a finite amount of time. If it's a game that probably a lot of people aren't even really aware of, and I've given it a first look video and I think it's pretty poorly done, I'll just not even bother. I mean, I don't want to, kick people when they're down. There are enough reviewers out there who enjoy savaging a game. I personally don't. But if you look at a lot of these reviews out there, they all say the same exact thing. It's sort of like, okay, so does one person actually come out with a review, and then these other people who aren't really playing the game just watch that review and try to go on that to create their own reviews? Just like you see the videos where they're like 3-minute reviews. How are you going to review anything in 3 minutes, especially when you're taking up time with your intro and outro? I've said it time and time again. If I were a publisher, I would not send something to a person who shoots 3-minute review videos. Something else to keep in mind. And once again, this is our friends over at Dicebreaker. Many of these outlets have backers. So they've got money behind them. And what they did to get started is they actually paid companies to provide them with subscribers and views on YouTube. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Dicebreaker. You don't get tens of thousands of subscribers in 48 hours. Now, even though it's coming from the same folks who do Rock, Paper, Shotgun, which I actually like. it's video games and stuff. But no, you don't just pull out of the garage for the first time and get tens of thousands of subscribers. Here's something else. Here's another trick that, now I'm not saying necessarily that Dicebreaker does this, but I know there are other outlets out there. There are other people on YouTube, period, who do this. They pay outside companies to provide them with views. So the thing is, say you're a game publisher and you run across an outlet you've never heard of, say the Gaming Gang, right? And then you're taking a look and you're like, oh my gosh, their videos all get 12, 15,000 views. How did I miss these folks? I got to make sure I get stuff out to them. What you don't realize is those thousands of views are only 15, 30 seconds long, maybe a minute. I would take a guess there might be a lot of you out there who don't know about these less than savory tactics. And I'm not just talking about tabletop gaming. This is anything. Just like, thankfully, I thought this was so funny. So the Lenovo laptop, I think it was the day after I got it, someone whose reviews about laptop computers that I trust came out with their top 5 gaming laptops, because it's considered a gaming laptop, especially having that RTX 460. But they did their 5 top laptops of 2023, and it came in 3rd. And I also got a set of noise canceling headphones. And some folks that I respect their audiophile reviews, a couple days later came out with their top noise canceling headphones of 2023. And the one I bought was number 3. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm at least in the top 3 with these things. So I was like, very, very nice. But you know what you see a lot? So Tessie Trekkie is with us. They're saying, I quite like Dicebreaker. They're funny in their own milquetoast Zoomer way. Introduced them to some lovely indie RPGs. You know, I'm not knocking their content. How they got established is where things are pretty shaky. So anyway, like I said, I like the people at Dicebreaker, like the actual like on-camera talent and stuff like that. I have nothing against them. It was how they've come out. I've heard some indicators from people who would know that basically you throw money at them and they'll say very nice things about your games. I don't know for a fact personally, but the people I know, I would trust. I've known them in the industry for quite a long time. Anyway, Flaming Heron says this is movie reviews as well. They're either removing reviews or they have reviews where the person has literally never reviewed another movie. Oh, like Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, how are you included in the reviewer deal? You know, how are you in the reviewer queue? Because, you know, everybody's a critic now. Everybody's an expert. And that's also a problem because it's like, but the other thing I was going to say is I see this a lot with like electronics, where you'll see the video title itself will even say unboxing and review. It's like, how do you review something you just took out of the box? Wouldn't that be an overview? And all they're doing is just regurgitating the specs of that item to you. It's like, yeah, okay, great. I could find that out by going to the manufacturer website. It said a review. I want to know, what do you think of this? But we don't get that. We don't get that at all. Or we also get things where it's like, oh, top 5 ABCs of 2023. And a lot of times it's actually from 2022, but the outlet went in and just changed the title to 2023. And all it is stock footage and stock video from the manufacturer and more regurgitation of specs. And it's like, there's more to electronics items than just specs. There's plenty of things out there that have just awesome specs that are absolute trash. So, Russell Higgins, I think I said hi to Russell Higgins. Maybe not. But Russell is with us, says, I am looking to be an expert in something. What can I choose? Oh, of course, sarcasm. Yes, because that's something you definitely want to engage in online. It's bad enough sarcasm's dead face to face, and I tend to be a relatively sarcastic person sometimes, but I've kind of dropped it because most people are like, really? It's like, no, being sarcastic. And I have actually had people say to me, what's that? It's like, Tessie Drake says their role-playing game library has now passed 1,700 items. Their spouse is not amused. I guess we're not talking PDFs then, are we? In case you missed it, Tessie Trekkie, you got a big thank you for your donation towards the laptop. I'm not sure if you were with us or not at that point in time. Anyway, so there was a bit of discussion going on about the state of reviewers and actual, I don't like people who are like, oh, honest reviews. Well, I would hope you're just honest naturally. I would prefer the term, unvarnished, unfiltered, things like that. Russell Higgins says, you can be an expert in football teams, Jeff. Well, I'm certainly not really an expert in betting on football teams. Tell you how you could just kind of tread water throughout the season. Still have about as much as you started with. Sarah D says she speaks 3 languages. Good to see you, Sarah. I'm not sure if you've been here the whole time or not, but I did say hello earlier. She said English, Spanish, and sarcasm, and they're only fluent in 2, though. Probably English and sarcasm. Russell Higgins says, I think the simple fact that you say it's an honest review makes me suspect it's not. Kevin King is with us. Good to see you, Kevin. Says, yeah, my spouse cut me off until the new year. Must be as far as purchasing new games. They almost have as many as Tessie Trekkie. I have never counted how many I've got. Obviously enough, I've got quite a few behind me here because everything on these shelves, of course, you've noticed, got the holiday decorations up, but the shelves down, there are 4. These are all books. Above it are games. There are games and more books over this way, games mainly over this way. And of course, I have a terabyte portable drive that is nearly full. I think I might have 100 gigs left, maybe 50 gigs left. And that is all RPG PDFs. So, but I have never counted up. I would take a guess. I'm probably somewhere in the vicinity of you folks as well out there who have loads and loads of games. All right, so it is almost 8 o'clock here. So we are going to be diving on into Universus My Hero Academia Jetburn from UVS Games in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
Merry Christmas, Fozzie.
Oh, boy! What is it?
It's a birdhouse.
It's a one-step, Fuzzy.
Take a picture.
How?
Just point it and press the button.
That's gonna be over his head.
Pointed at what?
At us.
Ah, now what?
It is over his head.
Press the button.
Hey, this is easy.
I'm beautiful. Take more.
You see one-step pictures along with the presents, and there's no simpler camera.
No simpler bear.
Polaroid means fun.
With a one-step.
In Grandmother's house, the tree was always decorated with wonderful things to eat, remember? Like chestnuts and cranberries and every kind of fruit. But with my children around and helping, well, I can't expect it to stay on the tree very long. In fact, I think I'll steal a lemon myself. Have you ever tried Coca-Cola with a squeeze of lemon or lime? You know, it's true that things go better with Coke. Everyone loves that refreshing new feeling you get only from Coca-Cola. You see, Coke's a natural. Its wholesome blending of pure food flavors provides a bit of quick energy. And Coke is not too sweet. I like this economical family-size bottle. Perfect for guests or at the dinner table. Uh-oh. It looks like my helpers have been helping themselves. Well, I'd better go check the Coke.
I gotta say that audio from that 1936 New Year snipe, they like to call them, it's a theater snipe. The audio is pretty damn good because, interestingly enough, if you've watched movies that are from, say, the early to mid 1930s, there's almost always just a white noise that just kind of floats in it. Not very good. Kevin R. Smith says, fruit on the tree must be one of those weird 50s middle class things. I want to say that Coke commercial is 1961, I do believe. And yes, it is the first fruits of the new laptop that you've gotten to enjoy. That was a brand new brief intermission. Russell Higgins says, wasn't the slogan for the 80s, everything goes better with Coke? I know it was. Tessie Trakey says, yeah, everything goes better with Coke. Violence, nosebleeds, C-bills. Kevin R. Smith says, yeah, but they're talking about cocaine. Yes, I get it. I do understand that. All right, so tonight we're going to dive on in. We're going to take a look at some releases for Universus My Hero Academia Jetburn from UVS Games. The starter decks we'll be taking a look at carry an MSRP of $11.99. The boosters we're going to crack open. We're not going to crack open all of the boosters, but we are going to look at a few. They carry MSRPs of $4.99, and there was also a pre-release pack that I believe carried an MSRP of $106.99. Somewhere around there, or maybe that's what they're selling for right now. So we are going to dive on in. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here we've got the two starter decks, Himiko Toga and Ochako Oraraka. So I do not watch My Hero Academia. I know actually nothing about the anime outside of the fact that my best friend Elliot's daughter is a big fan. And get ready, hold on to your hats, everybody. Elliot might be doing the review for this because he has this game. Dun, dun, dun. And he has played it. So this, to my knowledge, is the 6th release in this series. And each of these is going to contain its own ready-to-play deck. So let's start with this one here. This is a Clash deck. That's the Clash, huh? Nice. Clash decks are the fastest and easiest way to learn to play the My Hero Academia collectible card game. This Series 6 Clash deck featuring Himokotoga includes a ready-made 51 card deck and a starter playmat. It's paper, obviously. To get you started, to get you right into the action. I saw the starter again. So Tessie Trekkie says, note to self, offer to review Salvage Union for Jeff. I have no idea what that is. So Russell Higgins says, yes, London Calling. I was trying to think, was I going to do Rockin' the Casbah or London Calling? And then I ended up not doing either when I said Clash. I was like, oh, I just left that kind of floating out there. You can find links to rulebooks and video tutorials at mhacardgame.com. So this is a partnership between UVS Games and Crunchyroll. Just taking a look to see if there was any specific place to open the deck. You're supposed to, this almost looks like that's perforated here. It is. Taking a guess, that's our playmat. That is probably the code for us to learn the rules. Which will be too bad if there's no rule book. All right, Sarah D is rocking on out. Good to see you, Sarah. Hopefully we catch you tomorrow. So the Madman says they've been watching a little My Hero Academia lately. It's not bad, but the word collectible always makes me hesitate. There are a lot of people out there who will not purchase CCGs. Now, it's funny. Trading card game is the same exact thing. But there are people out there who are like, oh, okay. So here we have our character card. Let's see. Is this just the playmat? It is. So I know, it's the 21st century, everybody. It's sort of like no rule books anymore in these. It's like go online, learn how to play. So it looks like goes up to health 30, but I would take a guess you're probably looking at starting off with 20 and maybe you can boost your health. So we have your card pool, your character card, your deck, and your discard. And these are our two characters with these Clash decks. So I'll take a guess that the other character's playmat is the same. So you know what? I might as well just zoom all the way in, up a little bit. And I always go the wrong way. Let's give that one more. There we go. There we go. That's, if you happen to watch the live streams when I do the zoom in on this one particular lens, you know, I'm not real fond of how the ISO changes. Okay, so we have Deadly Ambush. So these kind of have a bit of a foil finish to them. Abandoning all inhibitions. And then it looks like the rest of these are all just going to be standard cards. We're not going to look at each and every card. Isn't this a superhero anime, by the way? I thought it is. Aren't they students at some school, and a lot of them are superheroes, or maybe they're at a superhero school? Ambush thrust, gouging needle, leaping slice. Okay, so I notice we've got numbers up in the upper corner here, which corresponded to the numbers on that play mat. Looks like this might be a defense number because we've got a shield on it. We've got a number here with kind of a spike. Wonder if that's like the attack number. And then we also have enhance, discard one card. This attack gets +2 speed. Wonder if that's what it is. Maybe that's the speed number up there. Kevin R. Smith says, I believe it's supposed to be supers in training. Okay, little X-Men vibe going on. It's like I've had people tell me, oh, Jeff, you got to check out Attack on Titan. I'm like, I don't have enough time to watch, regular films and things like that, let alone starting getting involved with, multi-season animes of 20 episodes plus per season. So we've got the multi-needle puncture. It's a 4. Series of stars. Looks like we've got 3 of each of these cards. Sudden stab. Twirling needle. Blood bank. Oh, so is this one of those animes where the character design changes based on their emotions? I forget the terminology for it. Where they oh, I'm really happy. And then they shrink down and they're little and they're all cutesy looking. Fleming Heron says, who has the time? I struggle to watch episodes of the shows I watch as is. I know. Blood sample. Dangerous combatant. Deft maneuvers. So some of these cards only have a shield rating. Like I said, I'm assuming that's defense. Okay. I'm taking a look here at this mat. So that's the number I was talking about in the corner. So I'm thinking maybe that's the speed number. So we have strange friendship, transformation materials, twisted love, and weapon of choice. And of course, once again, we've got these cards here with the foil finish. It's kind of cool. I like that. All right. So this is the Himiko Toga deck. Let's slip that back into here for a moment. Let's take a look at the other deck. We'll actually move through that a little bit faster. I certainly understand most people would probably be far more interested in seeing what's in these boosters, because that's where we get the collectability, because these decks are all the same. So this is Ochako Uraraka. I know people are going to be burning me in effigy. I can't believe Jeff pronounced her name like that. Oh, no. The enjoyment of the anime has been ruined by Jeff. So that is the backing on these. Hopefully the image is nice and clear. So here we've got that. Actually, the backing on this is pretty cool. With that kind of zero gravity and snap out of it. Those are our foils. So close quarters, subdual, floating drop, harpoon vault, neck chop, swift redirect. And of course, we have the different text here for various different special abilities or special actions you can play with the cards. So something here is enhance. I've seen that on many of these cards, such as this one here. Zero gravity rush, flustered, quick response. I don't want to show every card that's in here. So reaching out, warm and bubbly, and weightless. All right. Russell Higgins says, I thought they would be burning your name in effigy for opening the bottom of the box with a sharp instrument. I didn't open the bottom of the box. I used my hand. My hands aren't sharp. I did use this to open the deck, but I am so used to doing that, I never nicked the cards. Knock on wood now. Now that Russell Higgins has jinxed me. Russell says they really missed the boat on some of these moves. Care to elaborate, sir? I did skip. Yeah, Floating Hearts says Jeff's a knife expert. That's right, man. Better watch it or I'll cut your new smile, daddy-o. Okay, next up, let's take a look at this pre-release because I think we've got some boosters in here. In fact, it says, yes, there are 6 Jetburn booster packs plus 1 bonus random alt art or extra rare character card. All right, bust out the drum roll. Okay, so this is our card, and it is Edge Shot. Aha. So that is one of the characters there. Got another quick response code. Okay. So these are the boosters. So this is what we would find in this pack here. And one of the things is I don't want to open all the boosters because Ellie and his daughter, will get a kick out of opening these. Me opening them, once again, I don't know really anything about the show. And I apologize if you're tuning in and you're thinking, oh, this old guy is going to be regaling us with all these interesting aspects of the anime. Nope, this is not an anime I've watched. Now, if you wanted to talk Planet ES, sure. You want to talk a little Cowboy Bebop? Yeah. Witch Hunter Robin? Sure. I could keep going. Robotech, Macross. Okay. So this is for 14 and up. So I haven't seen anything that smacks of fan service as of yet. So Russell Higgins says this is a family-esque show. So it's really all the elaboration they need to say. Really, Russell? I drop F-bombs all the time. Weren't you just in chat last Thursday when the discussion of the C word came up? You must have missed that show. Okay, so fashion icon. Embrace the past. Elasticity. No remorse. Relaxed demeanor. Creeped out. Pro hero. Dragon dive. I'm kind of curious as to, I also noticed there's these little icons down on the bottom too. And they are different. I'm kind of curious as far as the characters who are able to utilize these moves. I wonder if that's what these little icons down here represent. And then we get another character. Oh no, this is just a foil. Rabble rousing. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing on this show. But I'm kind of curious, maybe, because I do see that we do have character artwork, but I wouldn't think that some of these moves are tied only to those characters. I would doubt it. So I wonder if that might have something to do with it. Although I think this is a character here. It's a villain. Because I noticed they have the little heart symbol for their health. Okay. Cool. All right, so that's one of the boosters. So it appears we get a foil in each of the boosters. High end. Hawk's Feather. Fearless Frog. Heroic Endurance. Pro Hero. So, it's kind of strange because it seems like we have different styles of anime here in this series. Some looks more kind of traditional, and then others look a little bit different. So that's kind of interesting. Earnest Fighter Armor. Fiber Web Combo is our foil card. And then Mount Lady is our character. And they are a hero. So it appears as each of these boosters has a foil, and they also have a hero or villain in each. Russell Higgins says, I must have missed that episode. Oh, yeah. Thankfully, it was just still referred to as the C word. It wasn't like we were tossing it all out. Kevin King is rocking that out. Good to see you, Kevin. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. So we've got Styling Bakugo, Reluctant Role Model, Dangerous Hybrid, One Man Inferno, Pro Hero, that's blank, Titan Cliff, Fiber Capture, Canyon Cannon, Flash Fire Fist, Jetbird, More Power is our foil. And then we've got another pro hero. It is Ryukyu. All right, we got 3 more boosters. So Russell again says every one of those cards could be a porn movie reference. I wasn't even thinking about that. Multitasking. Icy Display. Flash Fire Fist. Hell Spider. Air Force Blast. Frozen Slide. Internet Sensation. King Slam, Viral Cosmos, number 4 Pro Hero. Our foil is the Dramatic Slash. And then we've got a student. I will say in these boosters so far, we have not seen a bunch of dupes so far, except in the decks themselves, the starter decks, the Clash decks. A lot of the cards there were 2 or 3 copies of. In fact, the majority of them there were. It's kind of interesting. I don't know what the card count is as far as this series. I don't know how many cards make up the series. The Return of the Kings. It's kind of funny. They're wielding swords. Velocity Rush. My Heart is Set. Tongue Capture. It's another that frog character. Aha! We got a dupe now. I remember this. Relaxed Demeanor. Defying Fate. Surprising Skill. Failed Role Model. That was my radio name in Saskatchewan. Hot Pursuit is a foil. We got 2 foils. We got Air Force Gloves. And then Shoto Todoroki. And they are a student, it looks like. Yes, they are a student. So each of the boosters has contained a different pro hero or student or villain. So we haven't seen dupes on that. Stylish Strike, Take to the Sky, Soulful Rendition, Fiery Confrontation, Binging Balls. Yeah, I guess that could be a porn move. Burn Combo, Frog Stump, Gotta Go Faster. Number 5 Pro Hero. Our foil is Air Force Style, and we get another edge shot. So there is our first duplicate in the heroes, students, and villains. All right, so that is a look inside the 6th series for Universus My Hero Academia Jet Burn, which is from UVS Games. As I mentioned, we might actually get an Elliot Miller review. Yes. We shall see. Although I do want to point out, don't hold your breath, because I know I'm not going to. But there has been discussion, because he's always bouncing around, coming back to the gaming gang. And when UVS Games reached out and asked me if I'd be interested in taking a peek at this, I said, yeah, sure. And I touched base with Elliot. And because I was with him at Gen Con when he picked up My Hero Academia, the collectible card game. And I asked him if he had played it with his daughter. He said, yeah, we played it a bit. And I asked him, did you like it? He goes, yeah, it was pretty good. He's like, it's not Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is not even Magic the Gathering anymore. But he said he liked it. So I was like, hey, I'm getting a bunch. And to be honest, I didn't realize it was the same game. I thought this was possibly a new standalone collectible card game for My Hero Academia. But it is not. It is the same game. Because I thought originally it was from Jasco. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't know. But I will actually go online and learn how to play myself, because even if Elliot's not going to do a review, or even if he does do the review, I wouldn't mind checking it out. I like collectible card games. So give it a shot with Cameron, maybe with Cameron's new girlfriend. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I should say that dupe was not from a booster. It was from the actual pre-release that included the rare, supposed to be a rare hero. And this one is a foil. The other one for Edge Shot is not. Flaming Heron says, a review is now required. Oh, is it now? All right, so if you're wondering what else is cooking this week, tomorrow I'll look at Prime Minister from my friends over at GMT Games. I am very intrigued. Very intrigued. So it looks as if this begins in 1837. And it says, in Prime Minister, 1 to 4 players vie for political power and prestige by campaigning for public support, selecting and debating bills, pursuing official appointments, recruiting influential Victorians as supporters, garnering favor with the Queen, and when the time is right, challenging other players for their leadership roles. It says gameplay is partly cooperative with shifting alliances, but only one player can win by holding the Prime Minister's seat at the game's end. So that is what we're diving into tomorrow. As I had mentioned, the fine folks over at Pulp Hummock Press have sent along, like I said, I think it's Forgotten Gods of the North, which is the first mega adventure written specifically for old school essentials that is supposed to arrive tomorrow. If it does arrive tomorrow or Thursday, then I will be taking a first look at that on Thursday. If for some reason it does not, we will take a look at Great Worms of Draka from, this is Draco Studios. I almost said Draco Ideas. Two completely different companies. And if we don't take a look at this on Thursday, we will take a look at this on next Tuesday. According to my contact over at Free League Publishing, the Walking Dead universe releases are in transit. So we will keep our eyes peeled because I'm looking forward to that as well. So we have plenty on the horizon. And I do have some reviews I've already shot, just haven't gotten around to doing the editing yet. But keep in mind, I will have one up tomorrow morning, and I'll tell you what that is in just a moment. So that is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as tomorrow's release of my review for Warhammer 40K Roleplay Imperium Maledictum. Plus, I will reveal the 3 winners of the PDF editions of this game. So be sure to find out if you won, of course, if you took part in the contest. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, big tip of the cap to you, because not only do you keep me company, you keep each other company while I'm doing an unboxing or paging through a book. So I do appreciate that quite a bit. But of course, I know a lot of you out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very kindly for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. Hooray! I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be taking a look at Prime Minister from GMT Games. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. And of course, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.